As a private higher education provider in South Africa, situated in the West-Rand in Ruimsig, we believe we have a dynamic academic model looking into the future, for the future, challenging the principles of the fourth industrial revolution, asking ourselves the question, how do that translate back into education at the higher education level, involvement with industry, and in all the incubation and exercises and touch points we do mobilize, trying to equip and upskill people. So the question deals specifically with the fact or the notion of what's required from educational provider being a dominant and a prominent and also a responsible role player. First of all, it's all about the student. Sometimes people forget it's looking at the future of the student, so we mapped out a clear journey of a walk of a student from day one till the end, trying to maximize every learning opportunity. Maximizing learning opportunities, we look specifically at a blended model where we complement and supplement all our interactions with additional reading, additional Zoom sessions, ad hoc interventions, all the way to adapt and be adjustable to the process of learning, which in essence is a student-centric environment. The second aspect deals with relevance. Relevance in terms of what we do, what we deliver. We believe it's important to open access for higher education. Access not just meaning entrance to a program, but also what you do with it afterwards. And in terms of relevance, the second point is doing what we do. Our students are clear. We did an interview with them, a lot of surveys, and they're clear and they say to us, we want to have the guarantee that what we learn from you guys are relevant in industry. So there's my first point. And second, that it will be able to be used out there to improve and empower ourselves to excel in business. We decided to partner with the BDTV Summit for a few reasons. First of all, we don't want to rule or be involved from the ivory tower. So we believe it's important to be out there, be relevant and prominent in our market, engage with students, engage with the industry. And we can never do that alone. We need to join forces with everybody that carries the interests of the development of the country forward. So it's in essence a quadrihelix approach where we say as a higher educational provider we need to work closely with second to the community, third to the industry, and fourth to the student. And any of those parties is absent, the formula doesn't work. So an event like this for us is ideal to involve ourselves, to understand the needs of industry and students better, and from there go back to the drawing board, go and talk to our partners, talk to industry, and adapt, change or develop new programs and short courses that's important and useful for the people out in South Africa to make a difference. Plenty of opportunities exist from where I sit in the space of higher education and industry. We recently, as in last week, opened a CEDA office on campus, and the whole idea is to move into the West Rand, the South Rand, and also in Gauteng to support entrepreneurs moving forward. The reality, if you look at the case studies all across the world, is the small, medium enterprises that really drive the economy of any country. And as a country, as South Africa, and we can see it in a recent SONA in the budget, we need to invest in those initiatives. When I say invest, not just invest, but roll up our sleeves and become active participants and role players in there. So it's a responsibility, it's a calling to involve ourselves with the small, medium enterprise sector, to develop entrepreneurs, to be involved in incubation and to assist people. We believe in long life learning, so it's not just a once-off process. So it's not just an event that you participate and withdraw and wait for the next event. It's a day-to-day activity, and an event like this is merely one of the occasions that we believe are important for the better and future of our country. So during any engagement or intervention, one always needs to ask the question, what's the purpose? The why, the how, and the what, the typical three questions that literature and Simon Sinek and many others advise to follow. So when we engage in a summit like this and when we have discussions as a group of people, the question is why we're doing this. We're doing this to improve the human condition, and where us as a higher education provider sits is to facilitate effective learning, to create knowledge and to transfer that, and together improve the life of society and make a difference for everybody out there. So that being said, the question is, how do one accomplish that? In my view, and it's also a discussion that's a live debate on our campus and in our networks, it basically boils down to 4 pillars. The one, it's important to be innovative, leader in the space, moving forward in entrepreneurial space, trying to drive forward with new initiatives and incubation. One almost needs 2 key pillars to that. The one is people dynamics, where through the configuration of people, how you structure yourself, you enable yourself to mobilize yourself in that space. On a second level, equivalent to that, sometimes I like to think even more important, but I would say it's the same, is the ability to structure your processes in such a way that you can mobilize. Part of that is commercialization, specifically relevant to a forum like this. A lot of people have the ideas, but they struggle to execute, and once it's executed, they cannot commercialize that. So we need commercial viable businesses. Having a commercial viable business is not the end, it's the start. Thereafter, the challenge is how do one sustain that? So you bring in the innovation, the processes and people, and the commercialization processes through focusing on entrepreneurship and driving technology and using technology as an enabler. One then have the challenge at hand to sustain the businesses for future, and don't just look at a startup phase of 2 to 3 years. Personally, I believe a big challenge in our country is to move beyond just establishing startups, to make all startups viable businesses that can actively participate and contribute in the economy of the country, and therefore as a conglomerate and a joint effort helps everybody to move forward as a South Africa and also as a country in the rest of Africa.